We're getting everything out to make one of our favorite meals. It's based on asparagus, and usually we wait for asparagus fresh from our garden, but we just couldn't wait anymore. So we had everything else in stock and decided to make it tonight. So I figured I'd make a video of it. And it's just got some soy sauce, some extra virgin olive oil, some white wine vinegar, and some pasta. They just call for a spiral pasta, but we really like these long fusilli pasta. They are just so good in it. And then some water chestnuts. I'll put a link to this. It's from the Taste of Home website that my wife found it on. And we do modify it somewhat. We make a double batch of the actual dressing that goes on it. And we do double up like the ham and the shrimp and everything but the water chestnuts, I guess. So we do modify it a little bit also with that other pasta, but it's our favorite. So I just thought I'd share you. And here my wife's starting to put together the double batch of the actual dressing for it. And it's just got white wine vinegar. First she put in some olive oil, and it's a white wine vinegar, and next it's some soy sauce, and we just use a light soy sauce that we get from the Chinese store. So as I said, we are doubling exactly what they tell you to use for the sauce, because that's the way we like it. Now I can't actually print the recipe here or show it here because it's copyrighted, so I'll put a link down in the description to the actual recipe in the Taste of Home site. And then there goes a little bit of salt and pepper, and there's a little bit of a ground mustard that goes in that also. That really helps give it a great flavor. So that there is pretty much the actual dressing for it, or sauce for it, whatever you want to call. And so we make that a little bit beforehand and put that aside. And then for the ham, I buy these little boneless hams at Costco, and they just have such a great flavor to them. And it's all usable meat, and they're only a couple dollars a pound. They really are a great way to have a chunk of ham around the house. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut a couple slices off of this. They say to use about, I guess, with us doubling it, close to a half pound. So that's about, what I've got. And I'm just going to cut that into some strips like you see there. But this is really a great way to buy some nice ham that'll, last for a couple days in the house. And this recipe probably altogether takes about a half an hour to make. And okay, then there's about a pound. Well, they say a half pound, but we put about a pound of shrimp in. And we get these are pretty large shrimp that we get at Costco, and we buy them in I think it's a 4-pound bag. They go for about $10 a pound, and we find that they really are a great taste in shrimp compared to a lot of the other ones that you get nowadays, and they are, a pretty good size shrimp. So I'm just gonna peel these. They come frozen, and they already are deveined, so you just have to kind of pull the peels off. And I like to slice them in half so you get a couple more pieces in your salad. Takes a couple seconds to get them done, and then we got what they call fresh asparagus now. These are nothing like the ones we grow, but they were actually pretty good. They were just shipped in from Mexico. We found these in Aldi's, and that's what really got us, wanting to try and make the salad a little bit earlier. They weren't those little thin asparagus that you usually find. And they were real nice all the way. None of them were bad or anything. So, and I'm just going to cut a couple inches off the bottom end of them and toss that, just to get rid of the tough, chewy stuff. And then I'm just going to go back and I'm going to take them and slice them up into 1.5-inch chunks, like they say. And surprisingly enough, like I said, these did have a really great flavor. They, were almost like homegrown, but just not quite the same. So that's the asparagus all ready to go there. And with the size of the batch that we make up, we usually wind up getting 2 dinners out of it, and usually 1 lunch is left over too. So, it does go quite a ways. And then we had a bunch of chopped up black olives that we're going to put in there. They were left over from the pizza we made yesterday. And that's those are the main ingredients right there that you see. Just gotta make sure you wash the cutting boards good between them. And then it's time to there's a little bit of the garlic that we grew last year. I'm just gonna put 2 cloves in there. And first thing you have to do is just kind of peel them and mince them up. And I'm not the fastest mincer in the world here, so. And I just checked outside, and actually this year's garlic that I planted last fall has just broken through the frost has just come out of the ground, and everything's just, barely, the spring flowers and the garlic and stuff like that are just barely starting to pop up now. And then I'm going to just throw 1 can of water chestnuts in. And all they do is just, I'm going to open it and I'm going to just drain it in the sink. And you can leave them whole, but I kind of like them chopped up a little bit in this recipe, smaller. So I'll just take the sliced ones like that. And then I'm just going to take a knife and just kind of chop them into some smaller pieces. They tell you to, just leave the slices whole, but I don't know. I like them chopped up a little bit more. So that's that's pretty much all the prep that you have to do. And in the meantime, while I've been prepping all this, my wife started a pot of boiling water on the stove there for cooking the pasta up, because that takes about the same time as the rest of it. So there's everything all lined up, ready to go. And it's just time to kind of get the pasta cooking and get this going. So in a big frying pan, we just throw a little bit of cooking oil in the bottom of it to get started. And get that heating up pretty good. And at the same time, she's going to start the pasta. Now, we like to just cook it so that it's still fairly firm, and I think that each pasta has a different cooking time, but this is pretty close to 10 minutes for this the pound of this long fusilli. And I just like the way it's the spirals hold all the liquid, and actually it's got the little hollows in the middle that soak up the liquid also when you put the dressing on. So just gonna get that started cooking now. In the meantime, the frying pan is just about hot and ready to go. First thing that goes in there is the garlic, and we're gonna give that a couple of minutes to start get a little bit brown and get a little bit hot there. And from this point forward, I've been told to back away from the stove. So, okay, there goes the asparagus in there, and it's going to put the shrimp in there. And then they call for a couple of tablespoons full of water that you put in there also, because basically you're going to just put the lid on, mix them up a little bit first, but then you're just going to put the lid on there and just let everything steam. And that way the asparagus will get tender, nice and quickly. And you want to keep the lid good and tight. Make sure it's a nice tight lid in there. and you just give it a couple minutes to steam. And then after it's starting to cook pretty good, she's just gonna flip it over, move it around a little bit there. And then I think altogether it cooks a couple more minutes. So, while that's cooking, I just went over and got a shot of these little tomato seedlings and transplanted them the other day, and you can see they're doing really good.
Ready for me to throw it in? And I'll just keep it on low.
So that's all ready to go, and the pasta is actually just about ready to drain too. So now it's time to just throw in the ham and the water chestnuts. There are going to go in at the last minute here, and the black olives. And you're just gonna, she's still got the heat turned on under them, and she's just gonna, let this here
we'll put the dressing into it.
Cook for just a little while there. So now it's time to actually drain the pasta, and you want to make sure the pasta is a little bit firm when you drain it here. It's best in the salad that way. You don't want it to be soft and mushy or anything. And we're going to have to go down to the Italian store and stock up on some of this pasta, and go to Costco and grab another ham and, another bag of the frozen shrimp just to get ready when our asparagus do finally pop through. Because that's when it's really the best. But this really wasn't that bad. These asparagus were fairly decent. So there it is. She got the pasta's all drained now, and that's just going to go right in the pan there on top of everything else that's warmed up good now. And then you just take that dressing there, put that on, and like I told you before, we doubled the quantity of that, and it's just right for when you're going to use a pound of pasta. And just turn off the heat now and mix it together, and basically you're ready to go. And I'm guessing if you wanted to avoid the carbs, you could probably use like a zucchini noodle instead of the pasta also. Just steam that up a little bit and toss it in at the end like that. It probably would be fairly good too. So there it is, all done, ready to be consumed. Gotta stir it up a little bit there, and I like to just grate some fresh Locatelle cheese on it. We like it plain too, but I like a little bit of cheese just spread on it there. And that's my dinner tonight, and it really was good. Then for dessert, my wife actually made a fresh batch of that maple walnut biscotti that we have the video about. I love that stuff. So, this is just one of the meals that we enjoy, and I thought I'd share it with you. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.